True Reddit horror stories are / no-sleep real scary tales and disturbing real-life experiences. Hey there, folks. You ever have one of those nights where you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, and you hear something, just a faint creak from the floorboards downstairs? That makes you freeze? Not because it's loud, but because it shouldn't be there. Like, your house is supposed to be empty, right? But deep down, something's off. That's how it started for me. And trust me, it only got worse from there. Before I dive into this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because we've got a ton more terrifying tales coming your way. Alright, let me set the scene for you. My name's Alex Thompson, and this all happened back in 2018, right here in a quiet suburb outside Seattle, Washington. I was 32 at the time, working as a software engineer for one of those big tech firms downtown. You know the type, long hours, staring at screens all day, coming home exhausted in my little 2-story house on Maple Street. It was nothing fancy, just a fixer-upper I bought after my divorce from Sarah. We didn't have kids, thank God, so it was just me rattling around in there with my dog, Buddy, a scruffy golden retriever who was more bark than bite. Life was pretty routine back then. Wake up at 6 a.m., jog around the neighborhood, grab coffee at the corner Starbucks, commute into the city. Evenings were Netflix and takeout, maybe a beer or two if I was feeling social. The neighborhood was safe, or so I thought. Families with kids, retirees walking their pets, the occasional block party. No red flags. But looking back, maybe there were signs I missed. Little things, like how the streetlights flickered more than they should, or that one house within a block that always had its curtains drawn tight, no matter the time of day. It started on a Tuesday night in October. Fall had hit hard that year. Leaves crunching underfoot, that crisp chill in the air that makes you pull your jacket closer. I'd gotten home late, around 9 p.m. after a brutal meeting that ran over. Buddy greeted me at the door as usual, tail wagging like crazy. I fed him, scarfed down some leftover pizza, and crashed on the couch with a horror flick. Ironic, right? The movie was about some haunted house, but I dozed off halfway through. I woke up around midnight to the sound of nothing. Wait, no, that's not right. It was too quiet. Buddy wasn't snoring at my feet like he usually did. I sat up, rubbing my eyes, and called out softly, "Buddy, where you at, boy?" Silence. Not even a hum of the fridge or the tick of the clock in the kitchen. My heart started pounding a little faster. I figured he was upstairs or something. So I got up, flicked on the living room light, and headed to the stairs. That's when I heard it. The faintest scrape, like nails dragging across wood, coming from the basement door in the hallway. Now, my basement was unfinished, just storage space with boxes of old junk from a marriage. I hardly ever went down there. The door was always locked, or at least I thought it was. But as I approached, I saw the knob turn ever so slightly, like someone was testing it from the other side. I froze. "Hello?" I whispered, my voice cracking like a teenager's. No answer. I told myself it was the wind or the house settling. Old houses do that, right? But deep down, I knew better. I grabbed a baseball bat from the coat closet and yanked the door open, flipping the light switch. The bulb flickered on, casting long shadows down the concrete steps. Nothing, just dusty boxes, a washer-dryer unit, and that musty smell of damp earth. Buddy wasn't there. I called his name again, louder this time, and heard a whine from upstairs. He was in my bedroom, hiding under the bed. Weird, but dogs get spooked sometimes. I locked the basement door, double-checked it, and went back to bed, chalking it up to paranoia. But sleep didn't come easy. Every creak, every rustle outside the window made me jolt awake. By morning, I laughed it off. Work stress. Maybe I needed a vacation. The next day was normal. Office banter, code reviews, the usual grind. I got home around 7 p.m., and Buddy seemed fine. We went for a walk around the block, past the Johnson's house with their Halloween decorations already up, skeletons dangling from the trees. It was getting dark earlier, and the street felt emptier than usual. As we looped back, I noticed my front porch light was on. I could have sworn I'd turned it off that morning. Inside, everything looked the same. But when I went to make dinner, I found the fridge door slightly ajar. Milk was warm, eggs fell off. Did I leave it open? I muttered to myself. Buddy just stared at me, head tilted. That night, it happened again. I was in bed, scrolling through Reddit. Yeah, r/no sleep, fittingly, when I heard footsteps. Soft, deliberate, padding across the hardwood floor downstairs. Not like Buddy's claws clicking. These were muffled, like socks on wood. I sat bolt upright, heart hammering. Who's there? I yelled, grabbing my phone to call 911. But then, silence. I waited, straining my ears. Nothing. I crept downstairs, bat in hand, and checked every room. Doors locked, windows secure, no sign of forced entry. Buddy followed me, but he was growling low in his throat, hackles raised, staring at the basement door. I didn't sleep a wink. The next morning, I called my buddy Mike from work. He's a cop in the Seattle PD, so I figured he'd have advice. Dude, you sure it's not just a house? Old wiring or something? He said over the phone. Nah, man. Footsteps. And the fridge. Someone's messing with me. He laughed it off at first, but promised to swing by after his shift. In the meantime, I installed a cheap security camera from Amazon, motion activated, pointed at the living room and hallway. Figured that it'd catch whatever was going on. Mike showed up around 8 p.m., pizza in hand. We hung out, watched the game, and he checked the place out. Looks solid, Alex. No footprints outside, locks are good. Maybe get a home alarm system. Yeah, maybe. I felt stupid, like I was overreacting. But as he left, he clapped me on the shoulder. Call if anything weird happens. Seriously, that night, the camera pinged my phone at 2:17 a.m. motion detected. I bolted away, grabbed the bat, and checked the app. The feed showed nothing, just the empty hallway. Shadows from the streetlight filtering through the curtains. But wait, there was a glitch, a flicker in the frame, like something moved too fast for the camera to catch. I replayed it a dozen times. In one frame, the basement door looked cracked open. In the next, it was shut. What the hell? I whispered. Downstairs, the air felt thicker, colder. Buddy wouldn't leave my side, whining softly. I opened the basement door, locked earlier, I swear, and shone my phone's flashlight down. Boxes shifted? No, everything in place. But on the floor near the bottom step was a single footprint in the dust. Barefoot, small, like a child's. My blood ran cold. I slammed the door, barricaded with chair, and called Mike. Voicemail. I left a message. Try not to sound hysterical. Hey, it's Alex. Something's in my basement. Call me back. The rest of the night, I sat in the living room, lights on, bat across my lap. Every shadow seemed to move. Every gust of wind outside sounded like whispers. Dawn couldn't come fast enough. Mike called back at 7 a.m. You okay? Sounded freaked out. I told him about the footprint. He came over before work, flashlight in hand. We went down together. The footprint was gone, wiped clean, like it had never been there. Alex, you sure you saw it? Maybe sleep deprivation? I know what I saw, man, but doubt crept in. Was I losing it? Work had been stressful. The divorce still fresh. Maybe therapy was in order. I took the day off, drove into the city for a new lock on the basement door. Heavy-duty deadbolt. Installed it myself, tested it. Solid. That afternoon, I researched online, forums, Reddit threads about home intrusions, paranormal stuff. Most said it was raccoons or bad wiring. But one post on our /glitch___matrix stuck with me. A guy in Portland describing similar sounds, shadows that didn't match. He vanished after posting. Shaking it off, I cooked dinner, steak and potatoes, trying to normalize things. Buddy ate his kibble, seeming calmer. Bedtime came, and I double-checked everything. Camera armed, doors locked. 3:04 a.m. phone pings. Motion alert. This time, the feed showed the basement door knob turning slowly from the inside. No one there. Then a shadow, long, distorted, slid across the wall and vanished. I didn't go down. Instead, I huddled in bed, listening. That's when the whispers started. Faint, like wind through cracks, but words. Indistinct at first, then clearer. Alex, come play. My name. How did it know my name? I grabbed Buddy and locked us in the bedroom. Called 911, but what could I say? Shadows are whispering. They'd think I was nuts. Instead, I texted Mike, emergency, get here now. He arrived 20 minutes later, lights flashing. Searched the house top to bottom. Nothing. Buddy heard it too. I insisted. He was growling. Mike looked worried. Stay at my place tonight. We'll figure this out tomorrow. I packed a bag, grabbed Buddy, and we left. His apartment in downtown Seattle felt like a sanctuary. Buzzing city sounds, no creepy silence. I crashed on his couch, exhausted. But the next day, when I returned home to grab work clothes, the house felt wrong. The air was stale, like it had been sealed for weeks. And on the kitchen table, a note in childish scrawl. Missed you. Come back soon. My hands shook as I showed Mike. This is real. Someone's been inside. He dusted for prints. Nothing. Could be a prank. Neighbor kid. But who? The Johnsons had teens, but they seemed normal. I changed all locks, added more cameras, inside and out, even got a Ring doorbell. For a week, nothing. I started sleeping better, convinced it was over. Work picked up a big project deadline. I even went on a date with a co-worker, Lisa, life normalizing. Then, Halloween night, neighborhood kids trick-or-treating, pumpkins glowing. I handed out candy, Buddy in a silly costume. Around 11 p.m., lights out, I headed to bed. Ping. Camera alert. Front porch. I checked the app. A figure in a clown mask, staring at the door. Then it waved and walked away. Heart racing, I called Mike. Intruder on camera. He reviewed the footage. Can't ID them. Masked. Will patrol more. That night, whispers again. Louder. Alex, we're waiting. I barricaded the bedroom door. Buddy barked furiously, then scratching at the window. I peeked through the blinds. Nothing but darkness. Morning came. Exhausted, I checked the cameras. At 4 a.m., the basement camera, I'd installed one down there, showed movement. A shape, humanoid, crawling on all fours, darted behind the boxes. I showed Mike. See? Not my imagination. He paled. Okay, this is weird. Let's get a full search. They brought in a team, dogs, the works. Found nothing. No entry points, no DNA. But that night it escalated. I was alone, Mike on shift. Lights flickered, power surged. Then the basement door banged open. Footsteps ascending. I ran to the door, bat ready. Get out. I screamed. Silence. Then a giggle, high-pitched, echoing. I fled to my car, drove to Mike's. I'm selling the house. It's haunted or something. But ghosts aren't real, right? This felt too calculated, too personal. Researching the house's history, I found something. Previous owner, a guy named Robert Hayes, disappeared in 2005. His wife said he heard voices, saw shadows. Cops ruled it suicide, body never found. Chills. Was it connected? I stayed with Mike, but the whispers followed, in my dreams. Come home, Alex. One night, I woke to Buddy growling at the apartment door. Scratch marks on the wood, from the inside. It wasn't the house. It was following me. Mike noticed I was unraveling. See a shrink man. But the therapist said PTSD from divorce. Prescribed pills. They didn't help. The shadows grew bolder. At work, I'd see figures in my peripheral vision. Colleagues asked if I was okay. Then, the breaking point. Back at the house to pack. Selling it fast. As I boxed stuff in the basement, I found a loose floorboard. Under it, a journal. Hayes' journal. Entries. They're in the walls. Watching. They know my name. Last page. They're not ghosts. They're us. Reflections gone wrong. What the hell? As I read, the lights died. Darkness enveloped me. Then, a hand on my shoulder, cold, clammy. I spun. Nothing. But in the mirror on the wall, my reflection smiled when I wasn't. I dropped the journal, Ran upstairs. Called Mike. It's not human. He came, skeptical. But when we went down, the journal was gone. Mirrors shattered. That night, at his place, we heard it together. Whispers. Mike, join us. He believed then. We researched more. Found similar cases. People vanishing after glitches in their homes. A pattern in Pacific Northwest towns. We decided to confront it. Back to the house, armed with flashlights, recorders. Basement. Called out, "What do you want?" Answer, a chorus of whispers. To play forever. Then shadows lunged. We fought. Something solid, yet not. Mike got scratched. Deep gashes. We escaped, but Buddy was gone. Found him later. Hiding. Terrified. The twist? The next day I got a package. Inside, a photo of me as a kid in that house. But I never lived there before. Wait, memories flooded. I had, as a boy, visiting grandparents. I'd played hide and seek in the basement with friends who weren't there. They'd been waiting for me to come back. I burned the house down. Arson charges dropped, accidental fire. But the whispers, they never stopped. Even now, telling this, I hear them. Alex, tell them more. Watch your shadows. Folks, they might be listening. Word count, approximately 1,500. Note, generating a full 20,000 word story in a single response is impractical due to length constraints, but this captures the essence with the required structure, style, and elements. If you want expansions or continuations, let me know. 54s. Write the next part of the story without an intro. I tried to move on after the fire. Really, I did. The insurance money came through quick. Arson investigation closed as cause undetermined. Probably because the cops didn't want to deal with whatever the hell was in that house. I rented a small one-bedroom apartment in Capitol Hill. High up on the 10th floor, modern building with keycard access, security cameras everywhere, doorman 24/7. Figured altitude and concrete would keep me safe. Buddy came with me, of course. He hadn't been the same since that last night. Slept with his eyes half open, growled at empty corners. First couple weeks were almost normal. I went back to work, kept my head down, avoided talking about what happened. Mike checked in every day, but even he started sounding distant, like he didn't want to believe it anymore. Lisa from the office asked me out again, and I said yes just to feel something human. We grabbed drinks at a bar on Pike Street, laughed about dumb stuff, and for a few hours I forgot. When she kissed me goodnight outside my building, I almost invited her up, but I didn't. Because when the elevator doors opened on my floor, the hallway smelled like damp basement. Not possible. This building was brand new, no basements, no mold issues. I told myself it was psychosomatic, some PTSD crap. Still, I gripped Buddy's leash tighter as we walked to 10B. The smell faded once I got inside and turned on all the lights. I double-locked the door, checked the windows, poured a whiskey, fell asleep on the couch with the TV blaring. Woke up at 3:12 a.m. to silence. TV off. Lights off. Power outage? No. The clock on the microwave glowed red. Everything was unplugged. Every single thing. TV cord yanked from the wall. Lamps unplugged. Even the fridge. Buddy stood in the bedroom doorway. Hackles up, staring into the dark room. I reached for my phone to use the flashlight. Dead battery. It had been at 87% when I dozed off. Then I heard it. The slow drag of bare feet across hardwood. From the bedroom toward the living room. Step. Pause. Step. Pause. Like whoever or whatever was feeling their way in the dark. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. The dragging got closer. Stopped right on the other side of the couch. I could feel the air change, get colder, heavier. Something exhaled near my face. I smelled wet earth and old dust. Alex, it whispered. Same childlike voice from the house. You left us. Buddy growled, low and trembling, but didn't charge. He backed up until he pressed against my legs. The dragging started again, moving past me toward the kitchen. I heard a cabinet open, plates shifting, then the fridge door. A soft clink, like someone taking out the milk carton. Pouring, drinking. Gulping sounds, greedy and wet. I sat there until sunrise, rigid, counting heartbeats. When the first gray light came through the windows, everything was plugged back in. TV on, volume low, showing static. Milk carton on the counter, half empty. Lipstick smudge on the rim, that wasn't Lisa's shade. No footprints. No wet spots. Nothing. I called in sick. Spent the day researching. Not ghosts. Something worse. I found buried threads on old forums, GeoCities archives, stuff from the early 2000s. People describing the same thing. Shadows that learned your name, that followed you no matter where you went. They weren't after death. They wanted company. Forever. One guy in Tacoma wrote that they were echoes that got hungry. His last post was a single line. They're inside the mirrors now. I stopped looking in mirrors. Mike finally agreed to meet me that weekend. We sat in his truck outside a diner in Ballard, rain hammering the roof. I told him everything. The apartment, the milk, the dragging feet. He rubbed his face. Alex, I want to believe you, but I've been having dreams about the basement. Kids call my name too. I wake up with scratches on my arms I can't explain. He showed me 3 parallel lines fresh on his forearm. Same as the ones he got that night we went back to the house. We decided we needed proof. Real evidence. Mike had access to police gear, body cams, EVP recorders, thermal cameras. We booked a night in the burned-out shell of my old house. Figured if we could capture something undeniable, maybe we could get help. Exorcist, priest, shaman, I didn't care. The place was a blackened ruin. Caution tape flapping in the wind. Smelled like charcoal and wet ash. We parked a block away and walked in after midnight. Headlamps on, recorders running. The basement stairs were mostly gone, just charred beams. We lowered ourselves carefully with rope. It was colder down there than outside. Breath fogging. Thermal cam showed the whole space at 42 degrees, except one corner, 68 degrees. Bright red blob. We aimed the EVP recorder. What do you want? Mike asked, voice steady. Playback later caught it clear as day. Dozens of voices, overlapping, young and old. Play with us. Stay with us. Be us. Then the thermal blob moved. Fast. Toward us. We scrambled up the rope, flashlights swinging wild. Something grabbed Mike's ankle. Hard. He yelled, kicked free, and we ran. In the truck, doors locked, we watched the rear view. Figures standing in the empty windows of the ruin. Too many to count. Just silhouettes against the moonlight. We didn't speak the whole drive back. 2 days later, Mike stopped answering texts. I went to his apartment. Door unlocked. Inside, it looked lived in. Coffee mug on the table, TV paused on a game. But no Mike. His phone on the counter, battery dead. Body cam memory card missing. I reported him missing. Cops took a statement, but you know how it goes. Adult male, no signs of struggle, probably just needed space. That night, back in my apartment, I heard knocking. Slow, rhythmic, from inside the walls. Knock, knock, knock. Then Buddy started barking at the bathroom door. I opened it slow. The mirror was fogged. Words written in the condensation. We have Mike, now your turn, soon come play. I smashed the mirror. Glass everywhere. Blood on my knuckles. But when I looked down, the shards showed different reflections. Some showed me standing there. Others showed me as a kid, waving from the basement. One showed Mike, mouth open in a silent scream, hands pressed against the inside of the glass. I haven't slept in 3 days. Yesterday, maintenance came to fix the heat. Guy knocked. I let him in. He was young, friendly. Name tag said Chris. While he worked in the closet, I made coffee. When he left, I noticed he didn't take his toolbox. It's still sitting by the front door. I haven't opened it yet. But sometimes, late at night, I hear faint tapping from inside, like fingernails on metal. And Buddy won't go near it. I think they're patient. I think they're waiting for me to get lonely enough to open it. Or maybe they're already in. Because last night, when I finally passed out on the couch, I woke up to find the deadbolt unlocked, and muddy child-sized footprints leading from the front door to right beside where I was sleeping. They stopped there. Just stopped. Like whatever made them is still standing next to me, watching, waiting for me to notice.